Welcome back to Gibbo MMA. We are reviewing UFC Vancouver with a special guest, little fella. He's named after a UFC fighter. If you can guess his name, drop it in the comments. He's a bit sleepish, but named after a UFC fighter. The color might give it away. A very famous UFC fighter, so drop in the comments if you can guess his name. He's an absolute menace. But let's review this Vancouver card. I've had time to sleep on it, get more insight into the RDR, TKO, not being able to continue, not being able to get off the stall. And, I've got some strong, firm beliefs on this stoppage in the fact that it's the right call. His coaches threw in the towel for him, and I am really happy to see a coach do that for their fighter, because how many times have we seen fighters go back out there and cop unnecessary damage and just end up getting a concussion when they didn't need to get one, or go out there and just, instead of being a 3 months off, turns into like a 6 months that they're out for. So the right call was made. He did not quit. RDR did not quit. Coach Haran put up a post saying if he didn't throw in the towel, RDR was going to get back out there. And yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of he quit. I mean, a lot of the middleweights came out, like Hamzat Chimaev and shit, talking it all, which is understandable. When you got a fight in your division and you see that, it's very easy to just come out there and berate him. But Reiner de Ridder, 5 fights within a 12-month period, cutting extreme amounts of weight. It eventually caught up to him, because after the first round, it was all downhill. In that second round, he started off good, and then Brandon Allen reversed the position, put the damage on him, and Reiner de Ridder just wasn't the same afterwards. As we know, Allen took this fight on about a month's notice, and full credit to him. He pretty much broke RDR in there. He challenged him at his own game, beat him at his own game, and you would think this guy coming in with a shorter training camp for a 5-round fight would be the one who would fatigue quicker. And that wasn't the case. This guy was fit as fuck, the endurance of a fucking marathon runner, and he put on possibly the best win of his career. And now he will be a top 5 middleweight, possibly one fight away from a title fight, because I believe Imavov, it will be next. Like, if he's not next, what are we doing? But full credit to Brandon Allen, because last week we saw Matus Gamrot take a fight on short notice, took the risk in a main event and got beat. And then coming into this, Brandon Allen is taking the fight on short notice, big risk. But if you get the win, especially in this fashion, man, it pays off hugely. You catapult a lot. You get a huge respect, especially in the UFC's eyes. It's kind of, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And Brandon Allen reaped the absolute rewards with this risk, because coming in this, he was about a 3-1 underdog. I had RDR winning via TKO with that vicious knee, and it only landed once in the first round. And Brandon Allen shut everyone up. I mean, I'm eating humble pie right now, but hey, I'm happy to. And this is what's so great about this sport, is just when you think you know you have it, and you think you know you got it all figured out, this happens, and it's just a constant roller coaster, super fun. It's never, like, you think it's so predictable, like, oh, yep, like, we'll get into the women's flyweight bout between Magnon. You think you know how that fight's going to go, and then boom, knockout. So Let me know what your thoughts are on this main event. I did a video, talked about it a little bit more. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments about RDR and just the way it ended. And UFC Vancouver was a weird, strange. We had some crazy referee decisions around points taken, points not taken, nut shots, and man, it was a bit of a kerfuckle. We had some great finishes on the card, and yeah, it was pretty entertaining. But yeah, it did drag on a bit with the stoppages in some of those fights. Yeah. But a little bit more on this main event. We need to see coaches throwing in the towel more because fighters will always fight. Fighters are always gonna fight. They don't want to you have to take the decision out of their hands, as we saw with Kevin Holland. They're literally asking him, do you want to continue? The guy didn't say jack shit because he didn't want to have to. He wants to fight, but he knows he can't really, but he doesn't want to say it. So his coaches or the doctor or the ref has to just make the decision for them. And that's what Reiner DeRidder's coach did. He made the decision for him and made the smart choice. And we need to see more of this because if he went out there, man, and just got fucking knocked out brutally because he's just so exhausted. Fatigue makes a coward of us all. When you are that tired, I speak about this a lot. You can go from a 5-star, 10 out of 10 fighter to a freaking amateur if you're tired. And we saw that with Reiner DeRidder. First round, 5-star, 10 out of 10. Almost was a 10-8 round. And then he went to looking almost like an amateur because he was just so fatigued. Because we know who RDI is. We know the skill sets he has. I'm just checking the scorecards quickly on that first round. Yeah, so they all gave it 10-9. Not enough damage landed to make it a 10-8. But we know who RDI is. He was a pretty heavy favorite in this fight. And then he instantly just looked like an unranked middleweight making his debut because of the fatigue. And it just took everything out of him. And yeah, I believe the high activity and the stress on his body eventually just gave out on him. It looked like he was just in shock in there of just like, he had that 1,000-yard stare of like, where the fuck am I? What is happening? Why can't I get things going? And too much stress on the body with all those weight cuts looks to have done that. And his coaches say no excuses. And I agree. Can't use this as an excuse for the loss because Brandon Allen, I guess, was just a bad matchup for him looking at it. Because coming in with the preview, Glaze and RDR, but we did say we can't underestimate Brandon Allen. He could just come out there and just get the upset win and we wouldn't be too surprised. And that's what he did. And yeah, I'm not taking anything away. This is like he took this on short notice, Brendan Allen, with a big middleweight who we know is, even saw with that judo toss he did to get that takedown. He did that. He overcame it. And then beat him at his own game, as we know, RDR, Jiu-Jitsu, black belt. So full credit to Brandon Allen. And we'll move on now to the co-main event because there's a lot to get through. Mike Malott gets the unanimous decision win over Kevin Holland in just, I believe I had this going to be the fight of the night. It was... So Kevin Holland wins the first round, and I believe it was at the end of the first round. He got 2 nut shots. He got a nut shot, got a warning to Mike Malott. Then he got another nut shot, and he was cooked, man. 5 minutes. He took the full 5 minutes. They didn't even bring the doctor in, and no point was taken by Dan Mergulata. I can't even say that last name. He didn't take a point, and as we saw in the Drew Dober fight, the referee took a point for the Drew Dober nut shot, and I completely agreed with it. It's a foul, whether it doesn't need to be intentional. A foul's a foul, and you take a point. So no point was taken here, and Kevin Holland loses 29-28. So I believe if a point was taken, we would have been looking at a draw. Let me know how those scorecards add up, but I believe, yeah, Holland was robbed of a draw here. A point should have been taken from Mike Malott for just 2 back-to-back fouls, and Kevin was severely compromised in this fight. The guy's trying to fight while holding his junk, constantly readjusting it, and yeah, $8 billion company, and we've got this kind of refereeing standard is pretty poor. Because yeah, I hear Dan's a great guy. I'm not here to attack Dan. It's the performance. It's like what was going on as a referee. Because it could have been any referee that did this, and I'm going to have the same views about the referee with the way it was handled. And just a bad night for Dan in the referee department, and there needs to be accountability when this happens. I'm sure, there's plenty of explanations around his decisions, but this is just happening too much now across the board with other referees as well. There's no accountability. I believe there's an issue with all commissions around training and growing with the sport. The refs still aren't growing, and we need to protect these fighters and get rid of the eye pokes and nut shots by taking points away. As soon as you start penalizing it, fighters inherently will be training a lot better to not commit these fouls, and that way when we get in these fights, we're not going to see as many fouls. And it's just making the sport sometimes hard to watch when we see this. Imagine if you're a non-MMA fan watching this. Imagine trying to explain that to a non-MMA fan. What's going on? Yeah, I agree. Take a point. Soccer, you commit a foul, you slide tackle, hit the shins, take a point. MMA, you fucking kick their dick, take a point. So Mike Malott wins. He was actually pretty nice in there. He could have came after Kevin Holland a lot more, but it looked like he just felt bad. So he was like, I'm just going to just coast this. And then we had the instance where the doctor came in asking Holland if he could continue. Holland just said nothing. Dan said, if you don't continue, it's a disqualification for not entering the bell. It was just, it's just headache city. I don't even want to get more into it, but in the comments, go for it. Let me know your thoughts about this whole thing. But the handling of this Kevin Holland fight was just fucking tough going, man. And yeah, not much else to add there. Now, Amin Zahabi defeats Marlon Chito Vera by split decision. Marlon thinks he was robbed, and I believe he robbed himself. He robbed himself of a win. Chito Vera, man, he gets the first round. He wins. Sorry, the second round easily because he rocks Amin Zahabi. And on one judge's scorecard, they gave him the first 2 rounds on one judge's scorecard, had him winning round 1 and 2, and then the others had him just winning only round 2, which I agree. I believe Amin got rounds 1 and 3. But if you had it like Sal D'Amato for Cheetah, I'm not going to sit here and fucking argue about it. I really don't care who was going to win this. But Marlon Vera, man, he is his own worst enemy. It must be so frustrating to be coaching Marlon Vera during a fight. He's on a 3-fight losing streak now, and he's just giving up wins. This guy is such a good fighter, but doesn't seem to have that killer instinct. He has 8 wins via knockout, and he's got, 23, 33, 35 professional fights. He's lost 11 decisions. Marlon Vera's lost 11 decisions in his career. He's never been finished. He's actually got 10 wins via submission. So his most wins have come by submission. And so, yeah, 11 losses via decision. A few splitties in there, like Corey Sandhagen splitty. And to lose to Eamon Zahabi, boy, that has to be a wake-up call, because Cheeto just outclasses this guy in every aspect of MMA. And all that Eamon has is just a high fight IQ and just a work ethic. And Vera drops Eamon in the second round. And Eamon just was like, I'm rocked and I'm just going to skirt on the outside and recover. And Marlon he just stared at him and just fainted the whole time and let him recover. No killer instinct at all. And I was just watching it like, he's going to lose this fight now. He's going to go on to lose this fight, because if he won't even try and capitalize on this now, Eamon will recover and finish strong in the second round. He blitzed him in the last 30 seconds, and that looks good on the judges' scorecards for the whole aspect of the fight, and just showing like this was just a tiny moment and I'm okay. It hasn't affected me too bad. Because in the third round, we kind of were like, all right, he got rocked a bit, and Marlon just let him come back into the fight. And Cheeto Vera is his own worst enemy. I'm sure his coaches would have been absolutely screaming at him, going, finish him, finish him. He didn't throw a strike for like 60 seconds after he dropped him. He just followed him around the cage. And yeah, I feel like Cheeto's just a really nice guy, and he's just really good at fighting, but he doesn't like to hurt people. He goes, oh, I dropped you. Okay, get back up. Let's keep dancing. And Eamon Zahabi, credit to him, man. This guy's almost like 40 years old. As you know, his brother's Faraz Zahabi, who coached George St. Pierre. So just a great fight IQ on Eamon's side. He knows he's not the most athletic, but he has a great fight IQ, and he got to recover in there, and he knew, let's finish this round strong. Let's make the judges sort of forget I was almost finished. And then in the third round, he made it close and then edged the judges' scorecards. So this is all on Cheeto Vera, man. Like, and this is making the bantamweight division look fucking like trash. Sort of. Zahabi beating Aldo, now Cheeto Vera, and all this guy has is just a crazy work ethic and a high fight IQ. Nothing crazy skillful about him, knockout power about him at all. And he's just now will be a top 10 bantamweight. Like, oh my God. He calls out Sean O'Malley, and what I thought about this win for Eamon over Cheeto was Sean O'Malley's win over Marlon Vera is not aging well at all. That O'Malley performance he put on Cheeto, essentially, he just fought a punching bag that threw the odd robotic leg kick and jab back at him. Because we were saying, oh, what a great performance by Sean O'Malley, but Vera was just a stationary target. He doesn't throw any volume. And the losses Cheeto Vera has had just shows you like that O'Malley win is just aging pretty bad right now. Because Cheeto just lost the split decision to Eamon Zahabi, where Cheeto should have finished him in that second round or even in the first. And I'm not going any more on this, but let me know about this fight. It's just, Vera, man, his coaches would just be shaking his head. I don't know what you got to do to get it out of him. I was thinking he needs that Jorge Masvidal mindset, because Jorge was losing these decisions. He went away on some game show and he's like, man, what's going on? I'm losing these fights, but like, I don't feel like I'm losing. I'm coming out all right. Why don't I just start fucking knocking these guys out? And then that was the crazy run and transformation of Jorge Masvidal, and as we know, the Darren Till knockout, the Ben Askren knockout. He ended up fighting for a title against Kamaru Usman, and I feel like Cheeto needs a bit of this Jorge Masvidal career shift, a real shift in his mindset right now to just go, let's just start finishing blokes. Let's stop pitter-pattering. Let's start finishing them, because this guy should be pretty much a world champion, and he's fighting. I mean, if Zahabi had Cheeto's skills, Zahabi would, mixed in with his work ethic, Zahabi could possibly be a world champ if he had the skills that Cheeto Vera had. Man, just frustrating for the guy. Seriously. All right, as we keep moving on to the first fight of the main card, Manon Fiorot gets the first round knockout over Jasmine. And yeah, Manon, a heavy hitter for this division. And yeah, she got the great, what was it? I think she's southpaw, so a great straight left, I believe it was, on Jasmine's chin. She gets wobbly dancing, tango dancing, and eventually gets finished on the ground. She immediately protested, but when she watches it back, she'll realize, like, yeah, I was great stoppage. Didn't need to take any more. And yeah, Jasmine was an underdog. I didn't think it was going to play out like this. But well done to Magnon after coming off that competitive loss for the title against Shevchenko. Gets a great bounce back win. And yeah, not too much else on this card other than just some wacky shit. On the prelims, Kyle Nelson was about to finish Matt Frivola at the end of the first round. Well, he wasn't about to finish him. He was just 10 seconds ago ground and pounding Frivola. And then with 3 seconds left in the fight, Dan freaking steps in and just says, he steps in, doesn't call the fight. He just says, that's the end of the round. And there's 3 seconds left. And he's like, that's the end of the round. He said he heard the horn. And I believe this is an overcompensation. I'm trying to remember which fight it was. A couple months ago, a month ago. The horn went and the fight just kept going and he didn't hear it. I believe it was Dan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this was an overcompensation for when it gets super loud at the end of the round. I feel like he just guessed when the round was going to end, because the horn did not go. We'd been hearing it loud and clear with the crowd really loud when the horns would go, when the horn sounded. And yeah, because he did it on another fight night or pay-per-view, and the horn went and he just, because he didn't hear it, just kept it going. I felt like this was just an overcompensation. So and it looked like Nelson was going to finish Frivola here, and it looked like he stopped the fight. And at least it wasn't the fights, yeah, he didn't call the fight, he just thought, at least it wasn't like a Jake Matthews instance where the ref steps in before the horn goes, stops the fight, and then quickly changes his mind. This was just, he believes he heard it. He ended the round, but it was like Nelson could have landed 2 more clean shots and knocked him out. But Nelson goes on to win, and yeah, just a poor night for Dan. We don't want to stand here and berate refs and be a ref basher, but because it's a thankless job. I'm always, grateful for referees and judges in sport, because without them, we don't get a somewhat fair fight or fair game. Like, we don't get a game. It's just chaos. So we're always got to be mindful, hey, these guys are doing a thankless job, and not be super malicious against them, because people get super malicious against them and personally attack them, but only attack the performance of the job, not, who Dan is or who this ref is, what they look like, whatever, like what they did in there. And I'm only coming out this as an aspect of things need to be reviewed for not only Dan, but all combat sports refs. particularly MMA. We need an overhaul of things. We need to set new standards of points taken and all that to protect these fighters, because we're getting a lot of shit results, shit calls, and I believe we need more investment in the commissions and in the training, because if you want to be a ref in this sport, you're looking at that going, fuck no. Why would I want to ref this sport? I'm constantly put in positions where I have to make hard calls and I'm going to get fucking flogged no matter what call I make. So why would I want to be a ref in this sport? And if we can at least make it where they're not put in positions to make hard 50-50 calls, and just try and make it more black and white, especially around fouls and referees' discretion around fouls of like, an eye poke's an eye poke, we take a point, but sometimes you get eye pokes where it's just a flicker. You can clearly see the fighter's okay, and at the referee's discretion, you don't need to take a point. But if there's an eye poke and it's clearly affecting the fighter, take a point at the referee's discretion. But at the moment, it's like, unless you go blind, you ain't getting a point taken. As you saw with Henry Cejudo, that guy was seeing double for a few months. And yeah, I want the best of these refs because we need them, but we need better training and better support for them and a better standard. We've got all these cameras, we got all this technology. Why can't we use assistant referees more? Why can't we use all of the video footage that we have to assist these referees in there? Because it's chaotic, it's crazy. And they just need more assistance. But that's enough about refs. Fucking hell. Because you saw with Drew Dober, I like this referee. He handled this. We just said we weren't talking about it more, but I forgot about this. Drew Dober nutshots Kyle Prepelec, changes the fight because Prepelec was doing really well, and he was clearly compromised by the nutshot. And the referee handled it really well. You got time, because the difference between the way this referee handled this nutshot and the way Dan handled Kevin Holland's one was fucking daylight. And yeah, this referee, we need more referees like him, because he said to Kyle constantly, you got time, I'll let you know when we're at the last minute. We'll get a doctor if you want, blah, blah, blah. And then he took a point because it extremely affected Kyle at his discretion, you could see. And because he took a point, it created, if he doesn't take a point, Dober can just go coast on and try and win out the decision. But because he took a point, it's now in Dober's hand to go, if I've compromised this guy, he's now in the winning position on the judges' scorecards. I now have to finish him. And that's what he did. And that's entertaining for the fans too. We're going to get it's urging the guy who made the foul to then go, I need to get a finish now. And that makes fights more exciting. Because of the way the refs handled it. You fouled him, compromised, point taken. You're now on the back foot on judges' scorecards. If you want to win, you got to finish him. And the fans got to see a finish. Because if he doesn't take a point away, I believe we just see a decision win and Kyle possibly wins, or Drew Dober, but we don't see a finish. And lastly, I'm finishing on my boy Hunsong Park. He loses in the third round via rear naked choke. Well done to Bruno Silva. I've been on the Hunsong Park train. I'm saying he's going to be a future flyweight champ, the first from South Korea. I'm this far deep in it. I'm still staying on it. This is the loss he needed. He's going to come back even better. Sometimes you just need to go on a few losing streaks to figure out where the skill gap is, what I need to work on to be a better fighter. So I am going down with this ship with Hunsong Park. Boy, I think I'm going to end up at the bottom of the ocean by staying on it, but fuck it. Hunsong Park, man, he gets clipped really easy. Bruno Silva, the shorter guy, was clipping him well with the strikes, and then was just crazy on the ground. Park needs to get better at his entering the void, his defense. Even though he keeps the guard up, he doesn't get his head off the center line. And then on the ground, that's back-to-back times he's been submitted. I believe the Tatsu Taira fight, yeah, he got dropped and then got that face crank. So Hunsong Park, man, 3-2 in the UFC. He's fought tough guys. Like, he's fought 2 ranked bantamweight flyweight opponents. You could say, like, he's 10-2 now. He was 10-0 before the Tatsu Taira fight. So if he wins those fights, great. But development-wise, we could see, like, probably should have been fighting unranked flyweights to continue his development. But hey, he had moments in this fight, and he was the favorite in this fight. Yeah, he was a pretty heavy favorite, but Bruno Silva, absolute vet, and capitalizes on it. So Hunsong Park back to the drawing board to work on that, and I'm staying on the Hunsong Park ship, boys and girls. I'm going down with the ship, and it could end bad, but it is what it is, because if he goes on to win, I mean, if Hunsong Park gets a title fight, I will fly anywhere in the world to go watch it. Just as with Arnold Allen, if he gets a title fight, I will go anywhere in the world to go watch that fight, to support, because I'm on the train of Arnold Allen becoming a featherweight champ. And yeah, that's UFC Vancouver, guys. Reviewed. Let me know your thoughts. Appreciate the support, guys. Even if it's just one person watching this, I hope you enjoyed. Love doing this. And yeah, let me know what else you want to see. Go watch the live reaction to this. But yeah, UFC Vancouver done. Whether it be a 1 or a million of you watching it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be previewing Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall. I'm going against the grain on this fight, so be sure to tune in for the preview for that heavyweight bout, but I'll see you guys later.